enough to kill them, right? Because they need to prove that sugar is better. Now, if you give a 2-liter bottle of Coke to a type 2 or a type 1 diabetic, there's diabetic coma shortly after. If you give a bottle of Diet Coke to the same patient, there's not that consequence at all. Now, is that healthier than water? Probably not. You know, is it life-saving comparatively? So is Coke or Diet Coke better?
Yeah.
Well, now Diet Coke is much better. So we need to figure out who's paying for the study and what they did. In order to prove those results, what they did was they fed rats enough saccharin and enough artificial sweetener to equal a 150-pound person drinking 40 2-liter bottles of Diet Coke every single day for 5 years.
Which is probably not your average person. You know, probably.
Well, I do drink a lot of Diet Coke, but there's also the equivalent to these healthy foods.
Yeah.
If they did that with broccoli, say, and they fed them a third of the amount of oxalates which are in broccoli, over the same amount of time, they would die 3 times quicker. So now broccoli is more unhealthy than artificial sweetener? Well, that doesn't sound right. But we don't do those studies. Because there's no vested interest in broccoli. There's very much vested interest in artificial sweeteners.
Yeah, that's a big seller.
Huge.
There's a new one out there now too, isn't it? The what is it? It's supposed to be out of a plant.
Yep, stevia.
Stevia. So is that a good one, or is that better than?
You know, my cousin actually owns Zevia, which is the soda that uses stevia. And stevia is an interesting thing. The plant actually tastes good. It's 600 times sweeter than sugar, which I have a sweet tooth. But I think it's all based on taste. And it's funny because we're so ingrained in, oh, what packet do you want? Oh, give me a pink. Oh, give me a blue. Oh, give me a yellow. We all know what those are, you know. And now stevia is coming out, so we might have purple or green or something like that too.
So theoretically, is that? Would you say that's better than going with the other artificial sweeteners?
I mean, it's plant-based, but it's not a leaf in a packet. I mean, they've chemically altered it, right? Okay. Now, that's when we go into our belief system. Do you believe that chemical alteration is going to kill us? If you do, then it's probably not the thing for you.
Okay.
If you don't, and you like the taste of it, then you do.
Okay.
So it's all about where we are with our beliefs around food.
But at least with your clinic, you'll be able to at least bust some of those myths where they were saying like this is going to be a cancer-causing situation versus okay, maybe it's not, and now we got the research that shows that, and then it would be, what do you feel more comfortable with?
Mostly the questions go, do you like it? Yeah. How much do you take in? This amount. How much would you like to take in? Well, a little bit more. How much more? This much more. Okay. Long term, it's probably not going to kill you. What? Okay. And then there's a freedom that comes with that, where it's like, now can we focus on the stuff that's actually hurting you? You know what I mean? Like, the artificial sweetener, we're focusing on it so hard. I mean, when they started talking about sugar in vegetables, sugar in onions and things like that, and in our carrots, and I can't eat carrots, too much sugar, but past the donut, we're not focusing on the right thing here, you know?
Well, I can see that could be really helpful going into a clinic like yours, because you do have those, preconceived ideas.
We all do.
Yeah, like, the caffeine and the egg,
right.
All the different things, because you'll hear good and bad about each of those.
And they'll switch.
Yeah.
Next week.
Yeah.
Beer is good, beer is bad. Wine is good, wine is bad. It's.
Well, that's where probably the educational part is good, because, like you say, if you just look at the internet, you'd probably get a different viewpoint on it, and not really, if you didn't really know, if you weren't educated in the proper nutrition and dietitian ways of thinking, because you're kind of more of a scientist because you've gone through the science of food. which is different than someone just getting on the internet and just looking at it and not having that scientific background.
And we become such external creatures. Beer is bad. I'm never drinking beer again. Artificial sweeteners are bad. Oh no, only sugar-based sodas. High fructose corn syrup is bad. Oh no, now we've been eating those this whole time and nothing has happened.
Right.
But suddenly it's going to kill us, so we stop immediately, you know? And instead, what Ramey Nutrition tends to do is empower the individual to say, what do I like? And what is serving my goals? And what is serving the goals of the health that I want in order to perform my dreams? If I want to run around with my grandkids, what's that going to take? Not externally.
Okay.
What do I want? Make sense?
Makes sense, and that's what makes it different than just going to just a regular, maybe a dietitian that just worked on just, here's a sheet, and this is what your weight is, this is your BMI, this is what you should eat, this is what you shouldn't eat. You guys are looking, kind of going to the next step and saying, okay, real world, this is what you live in, and this is what your different beliefs or non-beliefs or, you know, what you're able to do physically and not physically. So maybe someone can do more exercise, maybe someone can't do as much exercise. It's not unusual. A lot of my patients may have back issues or have had back surgery. They can't do as much exercise. So their diet's going to be different than someone, like you said, you're going to be preparing for a race.
Right.
So,
And there's a lot of psychological barriers to exercise too. There's a lot of fear around it. Can I do it? Is it dangerous? Will I hurt? Will it hurt me? And what we tend to do is Sarah does a lot of that therapeutic work, and then we move literally out of her office door into a gym setting where we start to do the movement and therapeutically get through moving the body.
you mentioned you have a trainer?
We do.
Okay. So is that in both offices?
Yes.
Or? Okay.
Yep. And we and he's trained to do movement that's very gentle on the body for people who've never moved in their life.
Okay.
So.
And then just for people who can, then he would come up with a different exercise.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
And he'll do it all in one environment too.
So he'll take elite athletes and someone who's never moved their body and have them doing the same thing in different poses or different formats that match their ability.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, so I guess, like you said, we could probably do other tapes. We could be here all day talking about. And
I
we will
wanna be.
do more tapes like on. I could think, maybe a segment just on myth busting because, like you said, it happens all the time. I'll have patients coming in and they'll ask me specific questions on, like you said, is cholesterol in an egg okay or not okay?
Right.
And then we were just talking off camera about, some people will buy the artificial sweeteners or eggs, egg mix, and that's probably not going to be the best thing for them, maybe than just a regular egg. So yeah, I think that would be good to get back and kind of talk about those different topics. But,
Definitely.
So right now, what's the address and phone number, or how they would get a hold of you?
Well, our phone number for both clinics is the same, so you can reach us at 206-909-8022. And our address is in the Shoreline area, and then again there in the U District area.
We'll put that on that so
Yeah.
people can get access to it.
Perfect.
So again,
And our web address gives all of that information. What we do in each clinic, everything.
so you have, some can be doing more, like a Crohn's disease versus just a weight loss.
Right.
Yeah.
And there'll be two different clinics that they can go to for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, great.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's anything else you want to say.
We're just really glad to be here.
Yeah,
good.
We're glad that you are doing such great work with your patients, and we're excited to work medically with you.
Great.
So
Nice seeing you.
yeah,
Good
good to see you.
You too. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.